What is digital transformation? It's a commonly used buzzword that sounds pretty cool, but what exactly does it mean? I'm going to talk about that here in today's video. My name is Eric Kimberling. I'm the CEO of Third Stage Consulting. We're an independent consulting firm that helps clients through their digital transformation journeys. And when I first heard the term digital transformation many years ago, I really disliked the term. It didn't make sense to me. I actually grew up with my parents working at Digital Equipment Corporation back in the 80s. And that company is no longer, it's obsolete now. And so when I hear the term digital, I always thought it sounded a bit outdated. But nevertheless, digital transformation became a big buzzword. It's a commonly used term these days. It's one that, quite frankly, is overused, and it fills in the blanks or tries to fill in the blanks in a lot of different ways, in a lot of ways that it shouldn't be used. So what I want to do today is talk about what exactly is digital transformation, and most importantly, what does it mean to you and your organization? So first, it helps to provide a real simple overview definition of digital transformation. And in its most simplest terms, digital transformation is the use of technology, any sort of technology, that helps improve your business. And that could be enterprise resource planning software, for example, ERP systems. It could be customer relationship management software to help manage your sales force. It could be financial and accounting software. It could be technology to automate your shop floor if you're a manufacturing organization. It could be robotics, it could be Internet of Things, it could be blockchain, it could be artificial intelligence. And again, I know I'm rattling off a bunch of buzzwords and a bunch of technologies that you may or may not understand, but the key point here is that digital transformation is any sort of technology that enables your business and allows you to be more productive, more efficient, and more effective. So I don't have an exact definition of when digital transformation began. It was a very organic evolution of technology and its use in businesses and organizations. But really you can trace a lot of this back to the 80s and 90s when businesses were first starting to use spreadsheets and word processors and other types of rudimentary technology that's very basic today. And over the years, what ended up happening, particularly in the 90s, there was a big revolution of enterprise software that went beyond spreadsheets and word processing that allowed companies to track orders and to track information and financials, track sales information, that sort of thing. And it really evolved into what is now known as ERP. And it started off as material resource planning in many cases for manufacturing organizations that were just trying to track their inventory and their manufacturing operations, which then evolved into enterprise resource planning, or ERP, as I mentioned. And at the same time, a lot of organizations were starting to implement more robust accounting and financial software. So back in the 80s and 90s is where you can really trace that evolution of digital transformation. And in my opinion, what's happened in the 2010s is that a lot of new technologies have exploded onto the scene. A lot of technologies like blockchain and artificial intelligence, predictive analytics, Internet of Things, a lot of things that you may have heard of, a lot of things you may not have heard of, but these are a lot of revolutionary technologies that allow businesses to operate better and more effectively. So the term digital transformation has become sort of a catch-all bucket for a lot of these technologies, and there is no one definition of what digital transformation means to any given organization. For some, it could be just implementing an ERP system. For others, it could be implementing a financial system. For others, it could be implementing robotics on the shop floor. Whatever the case may be, it's a matter of defining what digital transformation is to you. But before we do that, it's helpful to look at that history of how digital transformation came to be. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little secret, and that is that digital transformation really doesn't have a lot to do with the digital part of the term, but it has a lot more to do with transformation and the second word in the term. And even though technology is a driver of some of these digital transformations, it's really at the end of the day more of a business transformation that organizations are trying to accomplish. Generally, they're trying to improve their efficiency, they're trying to provide a better customer experience to their customers, they're trying to be more effective as an organization, they're trying to make the jobs easier for their employees. So really it's driven by the business needs, and it just so happens that technology is one way to enable those changes. And so the key word here is transformation. That's the operative word within digital transformation. And in fact, I would argue that we can just scratch digital altogether and call it a business transformation. Digital is likely to be a big part of that business transformation, but there's a lot more to it than just the technology itself. There's also the process improvements, the process management, the process reengineering that needs to happen. And there's also the organizational change, or the people side of the equation that's going to change. So this is why business transformation is probably a more descriptive term in defining what exactly digital transformation is. It's more of a business transformation and help improve the business or the organization that you're working in. Now, despite all the new great technologies out there, a lot of digital transformations fail. In fact, more digital transformations fail than succeed. And it's not because the technology isn't there. It's not because the technology can't do certain things. It's not that we haven't made advancements in technology over the last few decades, but it's because we haven't addressed that business transformation side of things that I just managed. When we neglect the business process and/or the organizational or people side of things, we're neglecting the entire digital transformation. And no matter how great the technology is, if we haven't addressed people and processes as well, and in fact, if we haven't addressed people and processes even better than we've invested in the technology, our likelihood of failure is very high. So digital transformations have a high failure rate. They're very painful for a lot of organizations. And for organizations that don't have a lot of experience with it, it can be overwhelming and they're not always sure what to do. So it's very important to recognize that digital transformations are only going to succeed when you invest heavily in the people and process side of things to correspond with the investments in technology. So digital transformation is a big buzzword today. It probably will be for the next few years. At some point, it'll be replaced by something newer and better, or something that sounds cooler than digital transformation. But for the time being, this is the definition of digital transformation. This is the landscape that we're dealing with. And I encourage you to learn more about what digital transformation means and how organizations can best benefit from and some of the risks that they struggle with by downloading our 2020 Digital Transformation Report. You can find that link below. I've included that for your downloading pleasure, and I hope you found that information useful. So I want to thank you very much for watching the video today. Please like this video, provide any comments you have, any questions you have. I'd love to hear from you, and hope to chat with you soon. Take care.